So, you guys are animators at an independent animation studio, and we're here to pitch you an idea for an animated film titled Route 666.
Now, the logline of our story, Route 666. A trucker on the run from his past comes across a truck stop where people come in but never come out, and this truck stop holds many mysteries.
The genre of this animated film is fantasy and mystery.
The themes are loneliness, regretfulness, death, and commitment.
So like,
So our protagonist here is Billy Lee Jackson. He's a southern trucker, and he has no home. He's basically just driving around aimlessly. He doesn't want to commit to settling down in life. He doesn't want to commit to starting a family. And this has all been happening ever since his girlfriend died. So he's running away from the trauma associated with that.
10 is one of the employees that he meets while at the truck stop, called the Mirage, and she reveals that the truck stop is run by ghosts, so she is a ghost. And also coincidentally, they happen to be childhood friends, and they realize this when she serves him a dish from his childhood. And so she's like the ally.
Alright, the boatman is this mysterious character, and he comes from below the truck stop where the underworld exists, and he delivers dead bodies to a lake of dead bodies and souls, which come straight from the Mirage, which is the truck stop.
the manager is the proprietor of this fine establishment, and also the one in charge of the process of death. He wants death to remain as smoothly as possible and nobody to escape their inevitable fate.
This is the person that has been haunting Billy Lee Jackson's past, his dead girlfriend, and the whole story is basically centered around her and his regrets that he never got to say goodbye to her. And we don't know how she looks like.
So our story begins on Route 66. Billy crashes his truck, and he's knocked out, and when he wakes up, he's perfectly fine, and he sees a restaurant in the distance. And he thinks, you know what, I'll go there. So he walks over there, and when he enters the restaurant, he's greeted by 10, who offers to serve him this childhood meal of his. And he had no idea that she knew that, and he realized, wait a minute, I know you, you're my childhood friend. And 10 then explains to him that the restaurant, the Mirage, is actually a portal to the underworld. And 10 offers to take him into the underworld to see his dead girlfriend.
So, in the restaurant, the whole restaurant is run by ghosts, and they're working there forever. And the only way to get to the underworld is into the bathroom of the restaurant. And there's a portal, and he just falls down into the river. And so Billy falls down into the river and meets the boatman. And on his quest to find his dead girlfriend, the boatman helps him, and they travel down River 60 Sticks. And as they were embarking on their journey, Satan, the manager, he realizes that something's wrong. There's a live person trying to do something in the underworld. So he tries to give him trial-like challenges, which try and stop him from actually meeting his girlfriend, what he's supposed to do. And he's trying to break his will, make him turn back around, or keep him there forever. After he's caught by Satan, eventually, Satan throws him into the river of a bunch of souls, and he meets his dead girlfriend.
And that's the next slide.
Yeah,
Thank you. Now, in the lake of dead bodies and souls, again, he does in fact meet with his girlfriend, and he finally manages to say goodbye. And he realizes that he should have been living his life instead of dwelling on the past.
Because he doesn't want to end up like her.
Yes. So he manages to escape from the lake and goes through the trials backwards, truly learning to value his own life. And oh dear, we're out.
And then we don't know. Does he get out?
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay, so this story is very meaningful to us because, like, it has elements of stuff that we all like, such as the theme of the underworld and ghosts, but also like the desert and like truckers and stuff. And we were all very passionate because it combined elements of all of us. A memorable moment was when we were creating the slides, and before that, we had some challenges with the story, especially Billy's backstory. Originally had a child, but then we thought that was too complicated, so we struck that. And when we were creating the slides, Dragos made these cool,
Well,
like,
just the one on the right.
no, I mean
Oh, yes, the lines.
the design, and we were like, wow, it's all coming together. Okay, our inspiration was actually AyanC's research assignment. He did a research assignment on food deserts, and we took that concept literally and made a restaurant in the middle of the desert. And also from Greek mythology, like the underworld, also the movie Hercules, where he goes in to save Meg from the, so yeah, that's inspired by that. The real world significance and why this story should be told today is because it relates to a lot of people's struggles with like grief, regret, and loneliness. And we think this is a really important story so that we can help people like that feel less alone. So as the animators, or just people watching this, we want you to take away that you shouldn't live your life full of regrets, and you should live in the present and just live life for yourself.
Any questions, anybody?
Can we give him a round of applause? Can I ask you just to quickly introduce yourselves, because you're in costume?
Oh, yes.
I'm dressed as 10, the fast food employee, who's the childhood friend of Billy.
I'm the manager saying.
I'm Billy Lee Jackson, the trucker.
I'm myself.
All right. Audience,
Any questions?
you are animators at an indie animation studio.
Yes. I am.
Why do you think this should be animated as opposed to like live action?
That's a good question, but this is a fantasy story, and there's a lot of fantastical elements like the underworld, and the designs of the ghosts really, I mean, the designs of all the characters really, like, can you go back? It's just more expressive to have it in animation, I think. And then, of course, there's the issue of budget, because usually live action things are cheaper to make, but I just feel like animation is usually better at telling a story like this that's full of magic and like stuff like that.
Yes. Okay.
Would you make this like an animated series, like a cartoon of some sort, or would you make it like a movie?
We were thinking about an animated film. Now, I had the marvelous idea of making it a whole franchise with brands and toys and all this stuff, but apparently they didn't like it. I just like it too
I
much.
mean, it's a possibility. We're open to constructive criticism.
Yes.
Did you guys take any inspiration from any like cartoons or anything like this for your design?
Well,
Yeah.
yes, there was some inspiration from Hercules. Alex was quite interested in getting some inspiration from there. Originally, it was supposed to incorporate things from more mythologies, but generally, it's ended up focusing more on Greek mythology. Yes.
Would you ever want to make this into a video game?
Oh.
Now I would, because it
I think so. I would.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure. And it's going to be a mobile game with
No.
microtransactions. Yes, Estelle.
With that.
Oh, Natalie, sorry. I
Thanks.
need pocket glasses, I suppose. My eyes.
I was just wondering if you guys had like any kind of, so you mentioned video game and maybe think of like any kind of like audio inspiration or like music or like a vibe that you were trying to go for, because you mentioned themes but not necessarily like.
We didn't talk about music, but I was, for the location, I don't know if this is what you're asking, but I think the desert is just a good way to show loneliness and like isolation. And so I kind of wanted the vibe of this film to be like just like the barren desert and like this abandoned this restaurant that's probably not abandoned. And just like the feeling of like driving on this endless road, that's kind of the vibe I want.
Now, if we did think of a soundtrack, I would immediately suggest Lutes and Hurdy-Gurdies.
He's warming up for the humor project.
Can I add to Lutes and Hurdy-Gurdies, like some kind of like rock hurdy-gurdies with like electric guitars or
Yeah.
something?
Because this takes place on Route 66, right? That sort of Americana, bygone era style, you know, something you can tap into, like Elvis and rockabilly, and you know, the actual Route 66 I've heard is kind of decaying, you know, like the old businesses and signage, so it's almost like kind of a graveyard of sorts. So there's a lot of connection you can make, but you've already done a great job of synthesizing so much into this piece.
Yes, there was actually one sort of location that we looked into, the car graveyard, I believe, that we did look into. It was a piece of early inspiration for us.
Like where the cars are like sticking out and they're all like graffitied and stuff.
Yes. Any other questions, comments?
Is there anything else you want us to know about your story? Because it seems like there is.
Well, the ending is that eventually Billy gets out and like he stumbles out of the restaurant. You guys remember he crashed his car and he felt fine at first. But when he got out of the restaurant, he's like basically on the brink of death. And he looks back and he sees that the restaurant was abandoned the whole time.
Coming to theaters is Halloween. All right, thank you very much.